Hello soulmates, so welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe, and in this video we're going to be learning how to make this straight pant trouser, so enjoy the rest of the video. So we're going to cut the exact fabric that we need for this, the front pattern. And to get the exact fabric, you get your waist circumference, which is 32. Mine is 32 divided by 4 is 8. And we would also get the hip circumference, which is 40.5 divided by 4 is 10.125. We would add seam allowance 1 inch to it to make it 11.125. We'll proceed to getting our crotch extension, which is gotten by dividing the hip by 16. So we're going to do 40.5 divided by 16, which gave us 2.5, and then we'll add our 11.125 to it, which gave us 13.78, approximately 14. So if you measure what we have on the table, you can see that we have 14 inches folded into 2. Moving forward, we are going to get the waistline, the hip line, the crotch line or the crotch depth. And for the waistline, I went up by 1.5 because I'm going to have a band. The band size is going to be 1.5, and I'm starting my measurement from that 1.5. So my hip line is 9 inches while my crotch depth is 11 inches, which I marked, and I used my ruler to rule it, as you can see in the video. And then I went ahead to measure my knee length, which is 21 inches, and my full length, which is 41 inches. Don't forget to start your measurement from 1.5, putting the band in mind. And if you're not going to add band, then you can start from 0. So measuring your crotch depth, you can either measure your crotch depth by using the diagram above or what I'm doing, taking it from the waist at the back to the waist in front. And then for your thigh measurement, you just put the tape around your thigh 3 inches below the crotch depth. That is how to get the measurement. So the next thing we're going to measure now is the thigh measurement. And for the thigh measurement, you go down by 3 inches from the crotch depth. You mark it, and then you also measure it with your ruler. So after doing that, we are going to measure our hip measurement. Don't forget that we already calculated the hip divided by 4 plus 1, which is 11.125. You also have that same measurement, 11.125, on the waistline. And after doing that, you connect both from the crotch depth to the waistline. Then we'll measure our crotch extension, which is 2.5. Next thing we are going to do is to come out by 1 inch, which is what I am doing in the video now. And after we've come out by 1 inch, you use your curve ruler to connect it together. So you can either use freehand, but I'm choosing to use curve ruler. And after we've done that, we'll now move to the waistline. Now for the waist, we got the waist circumference 32 inches, which was divided by 4, and we had 8 inches. Now after measuring our 8 inches, we are going to add that, which is 1 inch, and seam allowance 1 inch. So we are measuring a total of 10 inches on the waistline. Now we want to measure the thigh, knee, and ankle measurement, and to do that we need to get the mid part of the trouser. So to do that, we'll just measure the full fabric, which is 14. We'll divide it by 2, which gave us 7. So we're going to measure that 7 inches on the thigh measurement, the knee measurement, and the ankle, and we'll draw a straight line all the way down. So for the thigh measurement, we have 23. That's the thigh circumference. We have 23 inches. So we'll divide 23 by 2, which gave us 12.5. No, we gave us 11.5. 11.5 plus 1 inch seam allowance is 12.5. And we are going to share that 12.5 equally on the line. So we are going to divide 12.5 by 2 again, which will give us 6.25. So we are putting 6.25 on both sides. For the knee circumference, we have 17. So we're going to divide 17 by 2, which will give us 8.5. We're going to add 1 inch seam allowance to 8.5, which will give us 9.5. And then we'll divide 9.5 by 2, which will give us 4.75. So now 4.75 is going to be measured on both sides of the knee measurement. Now, when you're done measuring that, you just take your straight ruler and connect from the knee measurement to the crotch depth extension. Sorry, my camera did not capture that. And then you also do the same to the other side, which is the hip part. Don't forget to use your curve ruler to blend the hip part very well. And because we are working with a straight pant, whatever we measured on the knee, we'll just measure it on the ankle. But if you are making a pencil trouser, then you know that you measure your ankle and then take the ankle measurement on the other part, not forgetting the calculations we did on the knee. Don't also forget to use your curve ruler to blend the knee part together so that when you cut, you won't have sharp edges. And after you've done that, all you have to do now is to cut your trouser. I can't emphasize this enough. I think sometimes I overdo it, but please always pin your fabric before cutting. It saves you so many stress and error. So after cutting, you have to measure the fabric that you need for the back. And if you notice on the fabric, I forgot to add seam allowance on the lower part. So I did that before removing the excess on the lower part. So I just added 2 inches seam allowance. I ruled it and I cut the excess off. So now let's go to the back measurement. So for our back fabric, all we have to do is to add 4 inches to whatever we use for the front. I use 14 inches on fold for my front. So I'm just going to add 4 plus 14, which is 18. And the 18 is also on fold. So now, after you folded it and making sure that the measurement is accurate, as you can see in the video, all you have to do is to place the front trouser on the back and making sure that you have 2 inches on both sides on the crotch depth line. So on the waistline, you go in by 2 inches, and on that 2 inches, you go up by 1 inch. And then the 2 inches that you took in, you have to extend it out on the other side. So now you extend the other side by 2 inches as shown in the video. And then after extending it by 2 inches, you connect that 1 inch that you went up by to the 2 inches. I don't know how. I'm so sorry. My video did not capture it. Moving forward, the next thing you're going to do is to go out by 2 inches on the crotch line, and then you go down by 0.5 inch. Make a mark and then you connect it. You can use your free hand to do it. You can use your curve, but I'll advise you to just free hand because curve might be too sharp. So the reason why we're going down by 0.5 is just to create room so that the crotch depth can sit on the body properly. That's basically the reason. And you can see how I connected it. Just use your free hand to connect it. And when we're done, all you have to do is to go down by 9 inch to be able to create our zip allowance. My zip allowance is going to be at the back, and that's why I'm putting the zip allowance at the back. So I went down by 9 inch and I went out by 1 inch for the allowance. So now let's connect our lines together. You connect the hip to the waistline with a ruler, and then on the knee part you go out by 1 and you do that all through down to the ankle, and you also connect it with your straight ruler and blend with your curve ruler, just as we did for the front pattern before you cut. I'm going to diverse a bit, but I'm going to make another pattern trouser on paper this time, because I feel like when you have the basic pattern, you can create your palazzo from it, you can create your straight pattern, you can create any type of trouser you want to make from it. So please stay tuned and follow, because I actually have some adjustments I want to make, which is going to be on pattern on paper. So now let's go back to our main class for today. So all you have to do on the front part or the mid part for the crotch depth is to use your straight line to connect from the knee to the crotch line, just as it is in the video. You can see that I'm using the straight part of the curve to do that. And when you are done with that, all you have to do is to cut. Don't forget to pin, please. And please, if you've come this far and you know you're enjoying this video, please subscribe and like my video. And don't forget to also drop comments on things or designs that you would like us to create on this page. This will help us to be able to know what you want and to be able to create more videos that will help us create lovely designs. So please subscribe, like, and share our videos. Thanks for staying tuned. So after cutting, this was what we have. Looking beautiful and pretty already. Okay, so first things first, we're going to remove the pin so that we can separate the front from the back pattern. And after we've done that, we'll start or we'll proceed to the sewing. So before you start sewing, we're going to make our seam allowance, which is 1/2 inch on the crotch depth line, because that's the first place we're going to sew. So just make 1/2 inch from the crotch depth to the line upwards to the waist on both the front and the back pattern, and then we'll go sew it. And yes, we've already sewn it here. We've sewn the front and we've sewn the back, as you can see in the video. Okay, so the next thing is to proceed and make our dart line. Now we're going to measure our nipple to nipple. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches, divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to measure 3.5, and on that 3.5, I'm going to measure 1 inch. From that 3.5, I'm going to go down by 4.5 and make 1/2 inch on both sides and rule it just as seen. I'm going to do this to the other side of the trouser too. Measure 3.5. From that 3.5, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch on both sides of the 3.5. Go down by 4.5 inch, and then make a triangle line to the waist, forming our dart line. So for the back, we're also going to measure the dart line, which is 3.5, but it's a little bit tricky. We are going to follow the seam line all the way down, and because the seam line is a little bit slanted, it means our dart line is going to be slanted. So for the dart line at the back, we have 6.5. We're also going to measure 1/2 inch on both sides of the dart and then connect it. Sorry, it's a bit blurry, but that's the trick. You measure from along the side seam to get your line. And yes, so now after we've done that, we're going to join the front to the back. We'll also mark 1/2 inch on the sides so that we would sew it accurately, and then we'll take it to the machine. We'll join the sides together and also hold our dart. So here I've already held the dart and I'll join the sides together. So the next thing to do is to join the middle parts. Put it together, make sure that you pin it so that the lines can align before you join it. And after you join it, the next thing we're going to do is to cut our band. Don't forget that our band, we did 1.5. 1.5 times 2 is 3 inches because it's going to be on fold, but we'll also add seam allowance. So for the seam allowance, I added 1 inch extra, making 4 inches in total. So before I did that, I pinned. I always emphasize I'm big on pinning because I hate errors. So yes, so we're going to measure the 1 inch upward and mark it. So after that, you will cut it. So after cutting, we'll proceed to getting our waist measurement on the band. First of all, remove the pin, and our waist measurement is 32. So now 32 divided by 2 is 16. So after removing the pin, because I didn't measure my waist measurement on the band, so yeah, we're going to do it now. So our waist measurement is 16 on fold. Don't forget that it is on fold. And then we're going to add 2 extra inches for allowance before we cut. So that is me measuring it on the fabric. 16 plus 2, that is 18. And I'm going to make a line before I cut, just to make sure that we have a straight line and it's not slanted. So after doing that, you can put any interface of your choice, iron it, but I didn't use anything, honestly, because I didn't have at home and I had to continue sewing. So make sure that you iron it first so that you are sure of what you are doing. So here it is already ironed. The good thing about ironing is that if you notice that the trouser part, the zip part, the ironed line has already showed us where we are going to join our zip to. So now we'll just take one part of the band and then we'll sew it. We are going to have deep sewing. Now I've already connected the band to the trouser. Next thing to do is to fold accurately. You have to be patient here because we are folding to cover the stitch, and then we are going to pin it at each point. So if you notice now, I folded and I'm pinning. I'm going to do it all the way, and I'm going to do that all the way to the other side of the waist. You just have to be patient. So after you've done that, you take it to your machine, where the style of sewing we are using for the waist is called deep stitch, and it is sewn from the front. We are basically sewing the joining of the band to the trouser from front. It's not going to show from the front, but yeah, we're sewing this part as shown, but it's going to show at the back. So here it is done. Can you see that the sewing is showing at the back? This is the back of the trouser, but you can't see the sewing at all from the front. It's better, like it's a good way of stitching. Then you proceed to adding your zip and also hemming the lower part of your trouser. You can decide to use hemming gum anyhow you want to do it, but if you follow these steps carefully, honestly, you're going to love the outcome of your trouser. Make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.